Hi, Sandy.
Hi, it's Dave.
Hi, it's Kirk.
Welcome to the A.D.K rock and metal channel. And today we're going through discussions. And we're going to be doing it in the process of the random discussion generator. Don't know why I'm going French on this, but random discussion generator. So our discussion generator has over 30 topics that we can pick from to discuss. And so that we haven't had a chance to properly plan, we're going to have to do it off the cuff. We will throw up our generator and see what topics come up, and we will discuss them. Are we ready?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is this gonna topics about what exactly?
Well, they are going to be of the rock and metal persuasion.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's not going to be about whether or not like childbirth and childcare is the right sort of thing within the industry, or
right. Okay. Yeah.
Maybe there should be something about that. You should, as a musician, but I don't know. There are a couple of Joker questions in there, which are still of a musical variety.
Joker or jokey?
Joker. So they are They are something different.
All right.
Questions.
Okay.
So if you land on them,
Wild
you have to go.
cards.
They are wild cards, if you like to call them. So let's go. Let's do the random discussion generator.
Sounds like a Kraftwerk album. What is the best movie about rock or metal?
There you go. What is the best movie about rock or metal in your opinion? So there are multiple movies that come out over the years that either discuss the topic of rock, or metal. There are spoof ones, which I mean, it would be very easy to throw up "This Is Spinal Tap" as the greatest one, because it's the one that everyone references when their tour buses of the element. But I don't think personally that would be my best one. But if you were to go back, now there are loads. If you think about them, you've got everything from School of Rock in there. You've got The Rocker. You've got Rockstar. I don't know why they're all called Rock something. You've got Vinyl. You've got
Andy's like me, I've not seen any
Still
of this.
Crazy.
Can you stop after Spinal Tap and School of Rock, please?
So is that all the ones you've ever seen? Go on, go for
Well,
it.
does the Chuck Schuldiner biography Death by Metal count as a movie? Cause
If you think it is the best one.
well, it's not. I'd say that is just a documentary about
Yeah.
one of the greatest
It is a
musicians in
movie.
heavy metal. But
Because you have the history of Western Europe metal.
Oh, the Decline and Fall of Western
Yes.
Civilization.
So that's that
Yeah.
one. That a lot of people might say that would be one of the best ones to reference.
Yeah, the ones
But
that...
what, in your opinion, because I know what mine would be, and for why I would pick it. But
two come to mind for me. There's that 1992 film in Seattle called Singles, which was basically known as the grunge film. That's got Matt Dillon in it, I think. That's a semi-decent film. It's just people know that they were in the right place at the right time. And it's essentially about people living in Seattle and the music scene that's available to them. So I know that. Good soundtrack. Alice in Chains Wood, for example, was written for that soundtrack.
Okay.
And then what was that film about Ripper Owens in the 90s with Mark
Rockstar.
Wahlberg? Yeah.
Rockstar, yeah.
I like that.
Film.
I thought that was excellent.
it's almost like semi-biographical, although
yeah.
it was based around that kind of story, and it is worth it. And actually, the
Mark
soundtrack
Wahlberg
is
as well.
and the soundtrack's great in there. And you've got people like, well, we know Zakk Wylde's in there. He plays.
Tipton? I played one
No,
of them.
there was a couple. He played like the lead guitarist in that one, and then
Yeah.
there was a guy from Dokken was in it. There was a couple of different guys that were actually from other bands. It was just
Yeah.
the other main lead artist, like rhythm guitarist in the band. He was actually just a normal actor. But
What's the new metal one that Jonathan Davis did the soundtrack? There is literally a new metal film about...
I don't know if it's a new metal film, but he did the soundtrack for the Queen of the Damned.
yeah, sorry. That is
Vampire
about a rock star, though, isn't it?
Yes, so in that one, he did the whole soundtrack for that with I can't remember the actor that plays that part, but
Yeah.
it is a very good film.
And
good
then the
soundtrack.
Crow, Brandon Lee, he actually is a rock star in that, isn't he?
It is, so you
What
could.
a soundtrack. I'm including that.
It's not necessarily about rock or metal, but they are very much orientated. So the Crow is actually a good
Crow,
one, especially
yeah.
topical. With
What
the
a
new one.
soundtrack. Come on.
You're just sitting there. We just listed a load of films, and you're like, never seen.
well, no, if we're getting in the realms of calling the Crow,
You could.
It's-
Come on, he's a rock star.
let's throw in Bill and Ted as well then.
Of course.
There you go.
Wild Stallions.
Oh, mate, Faith No More were on the soundtrack for Bill and Ted's Wilderness Journey.
Are they really?
So, yeah, Bill and Ted, you could, in theory, now out of that, you've got three of them. Bill and Ted's,
Wayne's
Excellent,
World, obviously.
Bogus,
Wayne's
and-
World, yes. The
Never
list-
understood Wayne's World. I remember it coming out in the 90s and it being really popular and people loved it who didn't obviously listen to rock or metal. So I don't know why it was. What was the appeal of it? Was it just about these two
There's a comedic
morons
element.
that,
Yeah, I mean, it developed
you know,
from a sketch, didn't it? From
Yeah.
from,
A
sketch
from
from
Saturday Night Live.
Mike Myers obviously
Yeah.
was in it, and then there's that famous scene where they start headbanging in the car to the solo to Bohemian Rhapsody, and then that actress Tia Carrera where they're all fawning over her, and then I just don't remember anything else, and I've got no interest in watching it. Is it a good film?
In hindsight, looking back, if you look at it from today's point of view and watch it in today's eyes, it doesn't stand up as well. It hasn't aged brilliantly. But I do remember at the time it was really good because I did watch Wayne's World and Wayne's World 2 the other day.
Well,
And I was like, I didn't get that nostalgia thing that I did when I watched some of the other films.
Yeah.
They're the forerunners of what we do, aren't they? You didn't have YouTube channels, but you could have cable access channels where I guess you sort of bought airtime to do your own TV shows. That's kind of what they did. But I don't, like Kirk, I don't remember what did they do on the show? Did they have discussions or I don't know? They just
they made up random discussion topics. Yeah,
Did they?
did. Yes.
Which is that film with Brendan Fraser and they're a band and then they
Airheads.
kidnap. Yeah, Airheads. Now that was quite funny.
I've watched way too many of
Yeah.
these.
So do you know the
That is a
premise
great
to that, Andy?
say again.
Tell the premise to Airheads.
I've not seen it.
Local band struggling hard, trying to win a competition. Then they decide they've got a demo and they really want it. They realise that another local band made it big because they got their demo played on radio,
Right.
and they really wanted to get their demo played on the radio station, and they just couldn't do it. So they decided to break into the radio station and go and speak to DJ directly and hand him the demo. But he worked in a toy store and he had these fake plastic guns that were recalled because they looked too realistic.
Right.
So they filled them with hot pepper sauce, and when they tried to throw him out the radio station, they pull their guns out,
Take 'em
and then they
hostage.
think it's a hostage situation, and then it all gets put out in the air, and all these metalheads turn up, and
You get a contract in the end.
Concert,
They're playing from
concert.
prison, aren't they? At the
in
end.
the end, yeah. Spoiler alert!
Damn it!
So
Airheads is good.
the actual competition is what is the best. So we've just reeled off a load. I'm actually going to say my one is a film called The Rocker, which stars. I can never remember the actor's name, but he plays Dwight out of the American version of The Office.
Okay.
So, and he's done one. He did like was it Superbad or something like that, where he plays a superhero as well. But in this one, he was the drummer, of course, because that's why I like it. But he was the drummer of a band called Vesuvius, and they've played they've been a band at local gigs in the 80s, hair metal type thing, and they get signed at the end of a gig, but the record label want to replace the drummer in the band. And the rest of the band all kind of like, but yeah, if you do it, you get to open for Whitesnake on tour, and you're like, yeah, it's Whitesnake. He's fine. He'll land on his feet, and they basically leg it. And then the manager has to tell the drummer guy called Fish that that he's no longer in the band. And he fucking loses it. Vesuvius blows up, becomes a massive band, and he's working in like an electronic call centre, and everyone's going on about the new Vesuvius album, and he's like, fucking hate it. He's turned his back on music, but his nephew has a little garage band, and he's auditioning for drummers, and all these guys keep turning up, putting on like electric drum kits and samplers, and he's like, yeah, that is not drumming. He then comes out, and his nephew talks him into playing, and of course he starts being the whole rock ego, and it's their rise, and it takes it up to the point where he just it sounds like it's a big kind of like recovery story. The underdog, bunch of kids with this. So there's these teenagers, like late teens, early 20-year-olds, and there's 45-year-old, 50-year-old guy.
It's kind of, do you know what it reminds me of, the story? The Mighty Ducks.
Yeah,
it's
a real
he starts
underdog.
coaching that ice hockey team and rediscovers his love for it.
But they get to open at the end for Vesuvius.
Oh, okay.
On the same bill because they're signed to the same label at the end. But they put on a blinded set, and at the end, Vesuvius lip sync.
Oh.
And get booed off stage. Sorry, spoiler
Villains,
alert.
the villains.
That's a spoiler.
Yeah.
And they blow up.
So the
that's,
Rocker,
I love that. Rocker is
I
a
would
really
enjoy
good.
that.
It's a like a true story about what you hear. Whereas everything like Spinal Tap is a little bit overblown and a bit tongue in cheek, and most of the other ones there's some autobiographical or there's a lot more comedic play. The Rocker, you could look at that and go, yeah, that could happen. There is no way that you could see that happening with people, so I kind of like it for that reason.
So are we going to include the likes of The Crow and Queen of the Damned
could.
because
Pick
the main
one. Which one
protagonist
would
is
you
a
say?
rock star?
So if you only could pick one movie that you could watch about that was based around the rock and metal genre, because there are so many, but I would go with.
I didn't realise there was so many, to be honest.
Yeah. Out of the ones that you know,
that
which
I'm
one would you
missing
pick?
some here.
Well, it has to be. For me, I mean, I'm going to come back to it, but bit controversial. Didn't go down well with everybody, but I really like Lords of Chaos.
Okay.
Do you know that one?
I've still not watched that.
For those who don't know, it's the story of the Norwegian black metal band Mayhem. I'm sure a lot of people do know that, but I really enjoyed it. It's hard to get hold of. I think I probably streamed it on some illegal movie channel on my laptop.
That's the reason I've not watched it. I can't get hold of it.
You know, it's not easy to find. I think if you was to seek out a DVD copy, it'd probably cost you quite a bit of money. But I thought, you know, that didn't happen and all this kind of thing. But I remember the whole scenario of, you know, the Inner Circle, they were called, weren't they?
Yeah.
Norwegian black metal Inner Circle and Euronymous and what's his name? Wagner's, you know, the whole church burning thing. That was portrayed week by week in Kerrang magazine, almost like a tabloid newspaper story. So I remember all that. So watching and hearing about the stories of I don't know, was it Faust, the bass player murdering some gay man in the park? I remember all these stories, and these are all portrayed in the film. And I thought, as a biopic, if that's the right phrase, I thought it was really good. Yeah, it was Hollywood dramatised a lot, I'd imagine. But I thought, you know, there's lots of mayhem clips and sort of, I don't know if it's the actors or somebody sort of playing, you know, Freezing Moon in a rehearsal room, pretend, you know. I thought it was a really good movie, but for me, it's got to be Spinal Tap because I just absolutely love the film. You know, saw it one New Year's Eve when I was a teenager on BBC Two, and yeah, just so much rewatch value for me. So many great scenes, so many great sort of catchphrases and lines, but yeah, it'd be Spinal Tap for me.
I wonder why then Lords of Chaos isn't easily accessible for like people. Like,
it is if you want to buy it on DVD, but how many people have even a D drive on their laptop now, or a DVD player?
No, I think.
But even on streaming service,
DVDs, you won't find it for £1 in CEX or whatever. You know, it'd be 20 quid on eBay or something. I'm sure, because I've looked into it. I'd like to own a copy, but
why not on streaming? Because I mean, if you go on a streaming platform, you could say, oh, well, it's controversial. But you're like, but they did the freaking Jeffrey Dahmer film.
Yeah, license
they
it
did
to
things
Netflix.
about the Nazis and the concentration camps.
That's where you make the money, isn't it? License it to Netflix or Paramount.
It's got more of a story. It's got more of a story behind it than why it isn't so easily available. I don't know what it is.
What's yours?
I've just had a brainwave. Can we, you know, when you say film, there are some really good documentary films about metal. There's one by Sam Dunn, who's the founder of Banger TV, called A Headbanger's Journey. Talks about growing up and goes around the world. Famously has an interview with Necro Butcher from Mayhem, and they fall out. It's really intimidating. Sam Dunn met him a few years later when Necro Butcher realised that Sam Dunn's now a big name in music journalism. That's fantastic. I like that. And then there's also a good grindcore one that came out 2 years ago called Slave to the Grind. So it's got napalm.
I didn't know all these ones.
No, but yeah, these are serious films as well, you know, documentary films. So I'm going to go for
extras, but...
Sam Dunn, A Headbanger's Journey, which is free on YouTube. I think it's got millions of views. Go and watch that.
Okay.
Really enjoy
Can I add another one? You know, following on from documentaries. Again, I think I saw it on YouTube, Kirk. It was Bobby Liebling, Pentagram.
Oh, okay.
They've been around for 50 years. I think Bobby Liebling's about 107 now. He was living in his mum's basement, and a super Pentagram fan kind of was making a film, and basically he sort of befriended Bobby Liebling and said, "Come on, pull yourself together. Let's get the band back together." And there's lots of scenes of Bobby.
They just dropped a new album, Pentagram.
Possibly.
I'm sure, like not this Friday, the Friday before. Didn't they drop a new album?
I don't know. I've not heard that. But anyway, this guy put a rocket up his arse and got him touring and recording again, and you know, perhaps the band kicked off from that point, because I think he was at a really low point. That's an interesting watch as well.
Dave, before you mention yours,
I've already mentioned mine. Mine's the rock.
We haven't mentioned Some Great Monster.
Some kind of monster.
Some Kind of Monster, Metallica. That is a good film.
Well, then you've got the
you
year.
really do learn about the lifestyle of multimillionaires.
Well, then you're into the year in the life of Part 1 and Part 2, which were both. Well, Part 2 was shit. It was just a concert. But
is that Metallica as well?
That's Metallica.
I've not heard of that one.
Year in the life of is really interesting because that is the
Some Kind of Monster is
Some Kind of Monster is a messed up thing, but it is. It's very. There are a lot out there, so I think everyone's gonna have their personal favourites. Me, rewatch value has got to be the Rocker. You guys have had yours.
I like the sound of the Ripper Owens one. What was that?
Rockstar.
Yeah, I might try and seek that one out.
So should we summarise then? So Sam Dunn's A Headbanger's Journey,
The Rocker.
The Rocker,
Spinal Tap.
Spinal Tap.
So let us know in the comments down below, what do you think is the best movie about rock or metal? Let us know in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you very soon. Take care.